before we left. Now all preparations are complete and we are ready to start our 60-mile adventure down to the coast. Thompson, who was supposed to come with us, but changed his mind at the last minute, waves us goodbye from the riverside. Full complement of the canoe is myself, George, Kamara, Bangora, Mundo, Moses, Abdul and Brima, and also a pilot that I don't know the name of. It is nearing the end of the rainy season and the river sewer is in full flow. The pilot is in the bow looking for the best way forward down the river. Light water is encountered and quickly we are stuck between two rocks in the middle of the river. The river is fast but only shallow, and three of the crew, after much pulling, tugging and levering, managed to free us from the rocks.
We're okay. No, it's fine. I'm okay. Is that we're all fine? It doesn't matter if the boat sinks, as long as everybody's fine. It's all that matters in life. People.
We find some calm water and take a brief rest to take stock and to see if it is possible to get some idea of what lies ahead. On our way again, but soon Bremer is offering a few prayers as white water is encountered once more.
Wait.
Safely through that white water and onto something calmer, but where a local fisherman looks on disbelief before waving us on our way. Not quite white water but rough enough, and then disaster strikes again as the canoe hits another rock and we become stuck. Not as bad as last time, so not much of a delay. The last accident was enough of a concern, so we stop again and Bremer and the pilot scout ahead for a safe passage. On the move again, and we take some advice from a local on the riverbank. Now that we are through the worst of the white water, we drop off the pilot just above Sumbiaya. From this point onwards, the river should be navigatable without too much problem. Approaching Sumbiaya, it looks like it is wash day at this once thriving diamond trading centre. After tying up, I make my way into the village to buy some soft drinks for the crew. I purchased drinks from the local shopkeeper, who also turns out to be the headmaster at the local boarding school.
So how Sumbia town?
Fine. Sumbia is a very large town. Second to Bo town.
The headmaster gives his advice about the river ahead, but is also amused at the fact that we travel down the river above Sumbia.
It's navigable as far as Sumbia here. And where you are standing.
Back in the canoe with our soft drinks, we enjoy the much calmer conditions of the river, and George is teased about his uneasiness during our earlier travels. Now that we are on the part of the river that is navigatable, there is a marked increase in human activity, both on the river and its banks. Here are a group of youths digging out the riverbank, which will later be washed as they try to find diamond or gold that has been washed down from deposits further up the river. A storm is brewing, so everyone prepares to try and stay dry, and Moses puts the video camera away for a while. The storm has passed, with us all getting a good soaking, so we head for the nearest village on the map, which is Tomabom. Tomabom is a major rice producing centre, but unfortunately, due to internal politics, it has never reached its full potential. As we approach Tomabom, night is coming in, and the offer of a bed for the night is too good to turn down.
We have now arrived at Tomabom village. Our next stop.
Though thankful for the bed, the room I slept in contained a Big Ben alarm clock that chimed every half an hour, which kept me up most of the night.
So how you see we join you all the travel now?
The journey as how we see last night, we're glad in Sote because we will not see if the development they can now with area, now so no more we see there some important people there in the country.
Early next morning we set off before the fog has lifted, and some of the crew are decidedly glum about the conditions, and I'm sure they would be much happier still being in bed.
Sing us a song, George.
The outboard motor now comes into its own and we are making rapid progress down the river. Soon the Suwa River joins a much slower flowing Kitty River, and our swift progress is brought to a halt when a sandbank is encountered. But with the muscle powers of Messrs Bangura and Mundo, we are soon on our way again. As we progress further down the river towards the coast, we come across more homes and villages, which are mostly built around rice farms in this district. The river is much wider and calmer now, and is totally different to what we were experiencing yesterday at about the same time. More signs of life, with a group of Muslim women having Islamic training classes from a mullah. The outboard is throttled back while we ask the local villagers how far it is to our destination, Bumpe. And here's me wearing my new form of headgear to keep the midday sun at bay. Suddenly an abandoned church appears on the riverbank and provides us with an excuse to stretch our legs and explore.
It's actually a very important history of Sierra Leone. It's actually the history of it.
We soon found out it was built in 1917 and is of great interest to Bream and Abdul, both who are converts to Christianity.
I just want to know what
We stop off at the next village to try and satisfy my curiosity about the church. The only people in the village we can find are this old couple who don't know the denomination of the church. However, I expect it is the Evangelical United Brethren Church, as they were and still are very active in this area. Back in the canoe and on our way again, and Bumpe is soon spotted in the distance. Bumpe was once a major trading post in the British Empire, with Bumpe and Sherbro district being a place where the term white man's grain was founded during the 17th century. This was due to the loss of life of British soldiers from disease and sickness, with 50% dying in their first year on the coast. These are Navy men who were filming us and we are filming them, and they later tried unsuccessfully to confiscate our
We are
film.
now at Bumpe. This is Bumpe Island.
Today Bumpe is very much run down, with many of the old colonial buildings in ruins. Bumpe was our final destination for this part of film. From Bumpe our intention was to travel through the Sherbro Straits and then along the coast of Sierra Leone. Unfortunately, while travelling through the straits, the canoe got swamped about 2 miles out in some very choppy water. Luckily, everybody either sat or hung onto the side of the canoe, and eventually we got pushed back to the coast and everybody was able to swim to the beach. Once on the beach, we were spotted by some local fishermen, who informed their chief, who then in turn informed the local authorities, and they sent a speedboat down to pick us up. Several days later, the canoe was towed to Bumpe, and as far as I know, it is being used by one of the locals as a boat for tourists to travel around the islands. I don't think this boat will ever sail again. On our return to Bumpe, me and the crew stayed at Mr. Dangler's house. Mr. Dangler being an old friend of mine, we stayed for 2 days to recover and then travelled by ferry to Matujong on the mainland. From there, me and George travelled to Freetown, the capital of Sierra Leone, and everybody else returned back to their village.